Hello scrapbooking ladies. I'm coming today with a quick project share. As you know, Saturday was World Card Making Day, and so I'm a member of the Fisketeer board, and they were having an online crop with a ton of challenges. So I love doing their challenges, and they have awesome Fisker prizes to give away to the lucky winners of their challenges. And so I created just a few cards on Saturday for World Card Making Day, and I believe I showed you this little image here in one of my videos that showed you some of my Letraset marker coloring. And so this was the finished card that I did. I used some embossed cardstock with the Swiss dots. This is my newest Spellbinders that's called Fancy Framed Tags 2, and I just love because you get, I think it's 10 dies, so both of these pieces you receive in that. So that's what I did with this. I used the pattern papers are from the This and That Christmas Echo Park, and this is my EK Success Scroll Pattern Border Punch. So that's what I used in the stamp set. I just stamped, it says hello, and then I put the little pearls. I believe that was a Studio G dollar stamp. So that's one of the cards I made. And then one of the challenges was to use a ribbon and a bow. So this is the card I created. This is a digital image from DigiDarla, and I just love her digital images, and I colored the image in with my Letraset Copics and Bic markers. The pattern paper is from the Basel Vintage Marketplace, and this is some beautiful trim I found in a vintage store. Just some ribbon from my stash, tied some of it in a bow and hot glued it onto the very top because our card needed to have one bow and some ribbon on it. So that was the card I created for that challenge. Then we needed to make a card with some mini things like glitter, pearls, mini brads. So this is some of that same paper from the Basel Vintage Marketplace collection, and using one of my Spellbinders Fancy Frame Tags die, and then it says thinking of you, and these are some American Crafts little mini brads, and I used my score tape and poured on some glitter in the bottom chevron there in a turquoise color. So there's that card. And then one of the challenges was to use make thank you cards and use the same papers and the same embellishments for all 4 cards. So these next 4 cards I'm going to show you. I used the Carta Bella Beautiful Moments paper, and I used my Spellbinders dies, those same Fancy Frame Tags 2, and then I used pearls from Saw Crafters and some miscellaneous buttons from my stash. So this is just the paper line, and then I cut out the border from one of the border sheets and put on there, and then I have some little buttons and the little pearl butterfly from Saw Crafters. And then this was a Stamps of Life exclusive limited edition stamp set that I stamped out and pop dotted up. And then here's the other one. Like I say, it's the Carta Bella Beautiful Moments paper, and I added a butterfly button. That's from Creating is Fun, Martha's Zibbet Store, Saw Crafters Bling. And then this is the Fancy Frame Tags 2 die with a thank you stamp set that was from Stamps of Life. And this is that same Carta Bella Beautiful Moment paper, some buttons from my stash, bling from Saw Crafters, and a Pebbles puffy felt embellishment. And then I just stamped out thank you from one of my stamp sets, and this was also from that Spellbinders Fancy frame tags too. It's just comes in so handy and so versatile. As you can see, this is one of the other ones from that same fancy frame tags too. Some buttons from my stash, a Saw Crafter's bling, and then the little birdies are one of the border pages in the Cartabella Beautiful Moments paper. So that's my other card. And then this card, we were supposed to be inspired by the date, which was 10/6 of 12. So I just took some big stamps that I got from SP and Company, and the stamp set is called 123, and I just stamped those in the distress ink colors that matched. And then over here and here and here is some papers that I cut out with the K and Company. It was the Sweet Nectar adhesive paper, and then I stamped the Hello Friend that was from a Hero Art stamp set on that same Sweet Nectar self-adhesive K and Company paper, and then popped it up with some pop dots. So that's what that card looks like. I hope I'm not going too fast for you. And then there was a challenge to create a birthday card, so I used a Digi Darla image that is a little girl holding a cupcake, colored her in with my Copics Letraset and Bic markers, and I used a Labels Spellbinder die. I'm not sure which Spellbinders die that this actually is. I inked around it with my Versa Magic chalk ink in the red, and the vellum paper you see in the background with the cupcakes is from Webster's Pages. Not this last summer, but the summer before, I bought their warehouse sale. This is Recollections purple lace trim that I had gotten on clearance a while back, a nylon yellow flower, a red, I believe it's a Fancy Pants flower, and I just added a clay flower that I had made, and then a small yellow flower. I'm not sure who made that, if it's I Am Roses or what, but that's my birthday card. And then we had to make a card that showcased the initials of, or how it's spelled out, card, C-A-R-D. You had to take the C and use a supply that coordinated with that letter. So this is the card I made, and the C was for cardstock. The A was for my apron lace border punch, which you can see from Fiskars. I punched out right there. And the R was for the ribbon I used here from Hobby Lobby. And the D was for Dragonfly. And this was the Stamps of Life stamp set. I believe it's called Creations to Fill. And so I stamped that out. And then this is a Hero Art clear stamp set. It says Life is Sweeter When Shared with Friends. And that is cut out with my Spellbinders Fancy Frame Tags 2 die. So that's how that card looks. And then we were supposed to make a shaped card other than a square or rectangle, so I used my pinking dies from Spellbinders and made this Thinking of You card, and it opens up just like that. So that's my shaped card I made. And then we were to take a punch of some kind and to create and use it for something other than what it was intended for. So this flower here is actually made using a Creative Memories heart punch. So there's 6 of those hearts that I used Recollections Brad in the center and hooked them all together to make a flower. The little leaves you see there are actually a punch from Fiskars. It's called Blue Ribbon, and those are supposed to be like a banner, and I just scored in the center with my score board to make them look like leaves. Used some ribbon for a stem. Used this paper is all from I believe it is the Echo Park paper, I think, of some kind. I'm not sure. forgot to write it down. And then this is just some Webster's Pages trim, the yellow that you see here along the bottom, and I used an EK Success scallop punch. So that's that whole card, what it looks like. And then we were supposed to make a card with a matching envelope. So here's the card, and then there's the envelope that I stamped with I believe it's a Cloud9 design stamp set, and I tried to match some of the same inks and to match the flower. So this image here you see is actually a card that my husband brought home from his secretary, and that was the front of it, and I fell in love with that bird and the colors and everything, so I just had to reuse it. And so then I just took this is a postage stamp Fiskars border punch and punched out some cardstock in a color that kind of brought out the color here that you see. Used my Fiskars cloud punch and punched out some clouds from, I believe it's some basic gray paper, and all the edges are inked with frayed burlap from Tim Holtz. And then this is some die cuts with a view paper that I had punched out, and it was in my scrap bin, some scallop circles, and I just made a flower out of that to add to the card because I thought the colors in that with the buttons just matched beautifully with the card. So that's that whole card. And then the next challenge was to create a card that about a song. So anytime I see this little digital image from DigiDarla, I think of that song Singing in the Rain. So the stamp set from SP & Company is called Pure Happiness, and one of the sentiments is Pure Happiness is Singing in the Rain. So I thought that worked perfectly to go along with this adorable little turtle image, and I colored him in with my Copics and Letraset markers. So he is adorable, and I may go back and add some glossy accents to the little puddle and some of the drops just to kind of give it some added dimension. I didn't have time this morning because the deadline for the challenge was fast approaching and I didn't want to miss out on it, so I hurried to get the card done. But I think I will go back and add some glossy accents just to give it some added dimension and depth for that. And then the last challenge that I completed was called It's All in Your Number, and when you join the Fiskateer website, you're given what they call a Fiskateer number, and mine is 3291, and you were supposed to take each one of those numbers and coordinate it with something. So here's what I made. I used 3 different stamps, and this is a stamp set called Nostalgia from Inkadinkadoo that I got from Carol, which is one happy crafty chick. So thank you, Carol. This is the first time I used this stamp set. It is absolutely adorable. I need to just stamp out a ton of these images because I think I'm kind of like you are about wanting to use my stamp sets because I've just taken the effort to stamp them out. So I stamped this pretty butterfly stamp here in the center, and I used the thank you because it seems like I don't get around to sending birthday cards like I should, but I always need thank you cards. And then the background, I made my own background out of that fun stamp in the set. So that's my 3 stamps. And then I used 2 different colors of cardstock, the white and the purple. So that was for my second one. And for the one, I made 1 flower. That's the lace flower there that you see. And then I added 9 buttons. So I added 9 little buttons kind of in a little trail, maybe like they could be like the butterfly's little trail. So that is my last card that I completed for this challenge, and I will put the link to the Fiskateer blog below, and if any of you are interested in becoming a Fiskateer, they host amazing challenges off and on throughout the year, and they're just it's all about Fiskars, and they really listen to the Fisketeers, and you get to help them even naming their products or designing new things. So check it out, and I hope you guys have a very nice day, and thank you for looking at all my cards, and I hope I didn't go too quickly for you.